Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sphons CCW Live Show, brought to you by Sphons CCW, of course, Minerva Sportsmans Club, thisandthatdistribution.com. What we got for you tonight? We got some pretty cool stuff. We got Ryan and Corey in on the call, and for the first time, we got Rhonda in the studio. So hopefully, she doesn't trip over her tongue or anything like that. Classes. February 8th, full. 16th, February 16th, we had a drop in that one, so we got a slot left or opened up in the 16th class. So if you want to get in, get your concealed carry done. 16th, we got some slots. March 28th, we have 8 slots left in that class, so we should be filling that up here shortly. And of course, there's going to be one in April. And then, as always, if we overflow, then we'll try and stuff something in there in a convenient time where everybody can get a hold of it. We do have some spots left in the February 22nd, 23rd defensive pistol. So if you already got your concealed carry, already done your basic pistol class, and you want to do that, you can head on over to our website, and there's a link in the description of the video where you can head to our website and get signed up for that. 5/16/17 is going to be concealed carry first day. So if you want to sign up for concealed carry class on the 16th, it's listed under NRA basic pistol. And then late that evening, and then the 17th, we're going to be doing the pistol instructor class. So if you want to get your pistol instructor credentials, then head on over to the website for that one. And then if you already have your pistol instructor credentials and you want to start working on your defensive pistol instructor skills, personal protection in the home instructor is going to be 7/11 and 7/12. So we'll be taking signups for that one. If you just want to do the basic portion of the personal protection in the home as a student, then obviously we welcome you to do that. That's a real interesting course. You can kind of work on your defensive pistol skills and line set and preparing your house for defensive scenarios and things like that. So that's what we got coming up for classes at the moment. Shooting events, February 8th at 7 p.m. King of the Clays. That's a new event we're having down in Minerva Sportsman's Club, so we're kind of excited about that, hoping we get some interest. It's a single elimination clay pigeon event, and the event is up on our Facebook page and also the Minerva Sportsman's Club's Facebook page. Going to be a lot of fun. There's a couple classes with some pretty high payouts depending upon how many people sign up for that, so if you're a good shooter, you might want to check that out and maybe win some cash at the end of the night. Also, starting in April, we're sponsoring a hunter rifle class at Tusco Valley. Head on over to their website and you get course dates. It is all throughout the summer. And I do believe they bounce it around in the weeks, but it's a shoot on Saturday morning. It's like $10 to get in for the shoot for the day. So that's a pretty fun event. You can head over and check that out at Tusco Valley Rifle Club's website. We're still working on a small business spotlight. At some point in time in the show, we want to feature a local business and kind of tell you about them. So if you know of a small business that would like to be on the show, then drop us a line, sponsccw@gmail.com. Give us a ring, 740-422-9482, anything like that. And, let us know what they, if they're interested in the show, if they want to get on there and tell us about themselves. And we'll go from there. We'll get that all set up. So that's what we got for classes, upcoming events. Once again, if you guys know of any upcoming events that you want to get on the show, then drop us a line and we will get it on a show. Obviously, if you got a sportsman's club or if you hear of something, send us some information, and that way we can get it on there and get everybody out of the house doing something fun for an afternoon rather than looking at the boob tube.
Absolutely.
So we our video, defensive video and carry tip and training tip kind of meshed together tonight. We got some stuff going on. You got something on mindset.
Yeah, mindset has a lot to do with your mind, obviously, but you need to have the mindset that you're going to fight to win, and you're not going to quit until you do win, or God forbid you can't fight anymore. And that takes a lot of self-determination and training to train your mind to deal with a lot of different scenarios, and it goes along with situational awareness, um, planning in advance, a lot of that stuff that is all part of the mindset to defend yourself against someone who's going to do you harm. And a lot of people just don't have that. You see them all the time walking around with their phones in their face, walking down the street. It's like you don't want to be in that condition if something happens to you. We see that all the time in these defensive videos where people are just unaware and somebody comes up and pops them one and they're done. So your mindset and your situational awareness go hand in hand normally. You have to be aware of your surroundings if you're going to be able to have time enough or distance enough to defend yourself effectively. So that kind of leads into our carry tip. We're going to go over some of the things of alert conditions, and of course, the one that everybody, if you're home eating dinner or sleeping at night, you're going to be in condition white. We spend most of your time in condition white in the unaware condition, watching TV, using your phone, on the couch or something, and household chores. You can all, condition white can also be caused by fatigue and alcohol, if you're having a beer or something or a couple beers, prescription medication, stuff like that. Then the other one, when you get past that, if your situational awareness will trigger it, is condition yellow. And where you're conscious of your surroundings, you're aware of people, things, cars, parking lot scenarios, things like that. Even when you're out shopping or at a restaurant or anywhere you want to be, then there's no specific threat that you have identified. You're just keeping an eye on people to make sure there isn't one. Once you get to past that point where you recognize something or someone that's a threat, you go to condition orange, where you have perceived that this person could be a threat to me, and they're doing something that has triggered that response in your brain and your body, and now you're prepared to act if you have to. And there's a lot that can go along with that. It's just a matter of being prepared for most any kind of scenario. And you can't rely on the stereotypes, skin color, nationality, anything like that. Anybody can become crazy in seconds. Just go off the handle. You want to be aware of terrain features, cover at this point, and concealment. Whether you can get away, first thought should be, can I get out of here and out of this situation? Of course, you should be able to do that before you start to try to defend yourself against an active threat. But if you can't, then you need a plan to deal with that beforehand, which should also be part of your condition orange mindset. And then you'll go to condition red, where the person or persons is an actual threat, and you have to activate that plan and effectively use it. And that should be, so if you start out white, yellow, orange, and red, then, with red being the worst case scenario, you have to train for all of that in your defensive mindset and be aware that a threat can happen from any side, in front of you, behind you, can be cars, people, whatever, can be a tree falling. But if you're aware that, if you're out in bad weather or something like that, then at least you can have a plan to deal with it. So that's about it.
Well, I think that going back to the mindset, I think the thing with your mindset is if you have a plan formulated, and it doesn't go as you thought it would go, then you don't just give up on the whole thing.
Right.
You have to, adapt and overcome that particular problem that you're dealing with.
Yes.
And then, as long as you're advancing those awareness conditions, you're going to have problems in that particular defensive plan or scenario that you've put together that you're going to have to overcome and deal with. Just the simple fact of moving a shopping cart through a crowded parking lot, you
Mm-hmm.
kind of really unintentionally look at those and use those conditions to a certain amount. I mean, everybody's seen the person pushing a shopping cart who's completely oblivious to the approaching car, and then all of a sudden they're startled into condition red because, hey, this car is going to run me over.
Yeah.
And then they have to adapt to that, or they get run over by a car.
Correct.
So these are things that we can apply to our day-to-day life and learn about how we will respond to stresses outside of the training scenario as well as inside of the training scenario.
Yes.
And as long as you have the ability and or the mindset that, hey, we're going to solve the problem at hand before moving on to the next one, or two of them at a time, or three of them at a time, and you're not willing to give up your position or defensive scenario, then that's really what we're looking at is
right.
Keep going until you're done with the problem.
When on that, with the the mindset, with the plan, if you're in that defensive situation, the people that have attacked you, they've already formulated a plan. So you formulating a plan of, well, if I'm coming through here and this happens, these are the steps that I'm going to take. Yes, some of those things may change dependent upon what the threat does, but it helps hone that mindset of this is what I'm going to do, and then it actually starts to become easier when you walk through a parking lot of, well, this is cover, this is concealment. If this happens, I can get over here, and being able to piece back together little pieces of your plan gives you're that many more steps ahead of just going into it with absolutely no plan, because you still have some of those pieces of your plan left. So now you're just trying to fill in the small gaps instead of starting from zero.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
You're already off the ground at that point.
Yeah, and even to the point where, if you are pushing the shopping cart, use it.
Yeah.
Use everything you have.
Use your surroundings to your advantage.
To your advantage. Correct.
We talk about a lot how action is much faster than reaction. So if you have your own defensive plans, defensive scenarios, defensive issues, when somebody goes to apply their plan to you, and you have got the mindset literally that, hey, this isn't going to work for me, I'm going to counter this, and you do something that they don't expect. You hit them with said shopping cart, you throw your wallet, you pull a pistol, something like that, then it means that they have to either abandon their original idea or adapt to that, and that's going to take them much longer, therefore creating the two things that are required to win: time and distance.
Yes.
So, you know, on top of that, you're looking at, several things. Distractions work really good. Depending upon how close you are to that particular person, you may end up using non-lethal tactics. You may end up using, ground fighting techniques. There's a ton of different things. I mean, if a guy walks up and puts a knife out like this and says, "Hey, give me your wallet," and you punch him in the nose, he's probably not expecting to get punched in the nose because he's holding a knife.
Yeah.
He's expecting you to go backwards or give me your wallet. Well, now he's got to deal with everything
punched in the
nose. So, or if the guy walks up and he's got his hand in his hoodie and he says, "Hey, give me all your money," or "Hey, give me whatever's in your card, or I'm going to steal your car, your TV, whatever it might be," and you run that shopping cart into the guy's shin like everybody's kid in the world has done to you in the grocery store. Now he's got a hurt shin, and now he's got to deal with that too. So that's all part of our mindset that, hey, whatever this is going to throw at me, I can handle this because I've thought about these situations, or I've got a counter to it. We don't just, cower and let them have their way with us.
No.
We, this is polite society. We don't cause the issues, but we damn sure make sure that we're not the one being victimized also.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
We
may have lost Corey and Ryan. I don't know.
When right there with that mindset, when you get that, when you start developing that mindset, you start gaining that confidence, and now you're alert, you're aware, and we've brought this up before on several shows of that alert awareness. You're being victimized starts, that ability for them to the threat to victimize you starts going down because you've seen them. What's happening, what's going on. The guy, you spotted them. Now they're going to change course and go on to move on to somebody else because you were aware and you had that mindset, and they can kind of get that sixth sense for the that criminal element to say, nah, not an easy target, I'm going to move on.
Right.
So
yeah, if you're an easy target, then you're much more likely to be taken advantage of in a situation like that.
Yeah.
That cash there? Yep. Hey, bud.
We got the little one on here.
On TV.
Hey, hi. You guys got anything to add to that?
No, not really. Yeah. For a second with the little man.
Okay.
Corey?
No.
All right. So, what do we got? We got a defensive video for you here tonight. See if we can get this up. And let's get rid of our mugs. I got this from ABC News, and this kind of goes right along with what we're talking about here tonight. So let's see if we can get any good info off in this.
To another home invasion, this one caught not just on one camera, but on 16. A scary moment. A San Jose woman watched an alleged intruder enter her home while she was in it. The whole thing playing out on her cell phone. ABC's Aditi Roy has more.
This morning, a brazen burglar caught every step of the way on 16 surveillance cameras. Take a look at the intruder early Tuesday morning, checking out a window of this home in San Jose, California. On the other side, homeowner Heidi Casada, alone, wakes up from the rustling outside.
I was just petrified.
She reaches for her phone, opens up this app, and looks at the video from her 4 surveillance cameras in horror. The burglar just steps away.
I called 911 and stayed quiet because I thought they could get here and hopefully catch him.
While she's on the phone, watch as the burglar gloves up and pops the lock on this sliding door to get inside.
Look at how calmly he walks through.
The security alarm sounds off, but the burglar, unfazed, look at him walking through Quesada's home.
I can hear him rattling around, and I'm telling 911 he's in the room next to me. What was going through your mind? Oh, I couldn't, I was just trying not to hyperventilate, and I was trying to whisper, and I was trying to tell him, I just kept telling him, please hurry, please hurry.
He then goes for the master bedroom door.
I can hear him wiggle the doorknob.
He pushes the door hard.
I came out of my closet at that point and started banging on the door from the inside, yelling at him, saying, get out of here, the police are coming, they're gonna shoot you.
As she yells, watch him swing back, then flee out of the home and over the fence. One of the neighbor's 12 cameras capturing him escaping on a skateboard. Police arriving 14 minutes after Quesada called 911. This morning, the intruder, still at large, his face now splashed all over social media.
Oh, they'll find him. There's enough social media coverage now. Somebody will know him. Somebody will recognize him.
For Good Morning America, Aditi Roy, ABC News, San Jose, California.
Okay, so I want to point out a couple things here. We're going to scroll back in this video here. I do believe somewhere in here she talks about the burglar.
Back, then.
Yep, right here. So this is the part that I want to point out that's really important.
As she yells, watch him swing back, then flee out of the home and over the fence. One of the neighbor's 12 cameras.
Okay, so we got a couple things going on here that are good. She's got surveillance cameras. Her neighbor's got surveillance cameras, and she has access to her surveillance cameras while she's in the home. She called 911 immediately to get police on the way, and then when that particular intruder came to her door, she challenged him verbally. Now that's something that a lot of times it isn't brought up enough or talked about enough, especially in a defensive scenario, is the verbal challenge. A lot of times just confidence and knowing that there's somebody there will get that person out of there. The issues that I want to bring forward with this is there was no mention of any type of defensive plan. Now, she had her door locked. Whether she locked her door to her bedroom before or after the guy broke in, she didn't really specifically state. But no mention of any type of in-home or at-home defensive plan scenario selection. Of course, they didn't mention whether anybody else was in the house either, but also no mention of any way to defend herself from this person. So she may or may not have had something there to defend herself with, whether it be a ball bat to a gun, it doesn't really matter. You need something. The big point that I want to point out is they said it was 14 minutes before police showed up. So that is 14 minutes. Now, it turned out well, but had it not, this guy literally has got 14 minutes to do whatever he wants to do inside of that home with no recourse.
And just to kind of drive that point forward, that everybody watching tonight, everybody, at some point in the weekend, and if you don't go anywhere this weekend, Monday morning, everybody's going to have to get up and go to work. When you get up, fire your car up, look at the clock, and then drive, 14 miles, and watch the clock and go 14 minutes, and just to see how long that feels. Because when you talk about 14 minutes, it kind of seems like a long time, but not really, because you drive. A lot of times people drive half hour to work or whatever. But when you start talking, you actually start sitting down and feeling that 14 minutes is, especially in a situation like that, is, that's like 3 lifetimes.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's just wild. And
a more experienced criminal, and somebody, he had the intentions on hurting somebody while he was there, 14 minutes is plenty of time to do a lot of damage.
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
A lot of things. He could have hurt a lot of people. 14 minutes is a long time.
Absolutely. And like you said, she didn't have a defensive plan. She was hiding in the closet.
Yeah.
She had no plan. She was hiding in the closet. She was that essentially became her plan, because there was no forward thought of planning, and the plan that she reverted into was hiding.
There probably was no other options for
And
her at that point.
and from the sounds of the video, she didn't really have any other options. And yes, she did verbally challenge, and we've talked about this before. Challenging essentially your targets at the range when you do your training. That's a good thing to learn and do, and put those challenges out there, those commands. Another thing is, it kind of shows the vulnerability, and of course we've known this for a long time. I'm sure that lots of other people the guy busted in through a sliding glass door. Locks on sliding glass doors are terrible at best.
Yep.
The guy, he just leaned on it and popped it open. And you can save yourself a lot of stress on a sliding glass door by cutting a stick and laying it in a track. That way it can't be opened. You have to move. Just a simple dowel rod. You go to the hardware store and buy a piece of 3/4 dowel rod, and
most of the time they'll cut it for you.
Cut it to length, and you just drop it in the track at night when you're done, when you're all locked up at night. So that's
phenomenal lock.
That's like the best lock for a sliding glass door. And as we can see, it took him. It was probably faster for him to. It took him less time to pop that lock than it probably takes her to unlock her door with her keys.
Yeah, probably.
So that's another thing. As far as your home defense situations, is formulating that plan. Is yes, she took some forethought and had the camera system and had it set up so she could view it in the house, but making sure all your locks are secure and windows are secure and nobody can't just pop right in is going to go a long way. Keeping them essentially at your castle gates is the best defense. If he can't get in, he cannot hurt you.
Yeah.
Another thing, going back to not having a plan and her plan being, yelling at him. Had he had different intentions, that would have backfired, miserably.
Certainly.
Had he known that she was a woman at home by herself and had other intentions, I imagine you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
At that point, she let him know where she was and didn't have any way to protect herself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I think if he'd have really wanted in that door, we all know how flimsy.
It doesn't take all that much force to push an interior door open.
No, not at all.
So I guess the takeaway from this particular video is make sure that your house or home is secure. Have a plan, have a backup plan, and then have an escape route in case your plans fail.
Yeah. It looked like she was on a first floor. She could have, he just popped out the window, went to the neighbors.
Yeah.
They said the neighbors got a dozen cameras. So, and he's home.
Sure.
Probably go over to the neighbors and be like, hey, guy breaking in a house.
Yeah.
Even if there's not a neighbor near, jumping out a window and hightailing down the road, for people who live out in the country, getting out of there, if that's an option, do it.
There's always a bush to hide behind or something like that. You get out of there.
Pile in the car and leave.
Yeah. Car and leave.
That's avoidance is an absolute way of.
There's a lot of people, whether we agree with them or not, there's a lot of people that don't, want guns, don't want stuff like that for defensive measures. Your plan could be to keep a spare key somewhere you can get to your car and get it started and out of there. But having a plan is essential.
Yes,
absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Wholly agree with that.
Absolutely. So on to the news. Let's take a look here. What do we got for news? I'm gonna go back here. Get rid of our mugs here for a second. Stark County Sheriff's Office. Residents should be aware that phone scammers posing as members of the Stark County Sheriff's Office. I personally think this is one of the lowest of the low. You're going to call somebody and try and scam them out of something, posing as a law enforcement officer. If caught, I think they should lock you up and throw the key away. But Stark County Sheriff's has been receiving reports from residents who receive phone calls in which scammers claim to be someone with the Stark County Sheriff's Office. It's a reoccurring phone scam. Offices received complaints from potential victims who alleged they received a call from someone who identified themselves as being with the Stark County Sheriff's. The scammers have been spoofing the Sheriff's Office number in an effort to perpetrate a scam. Sheriff George T. Meyer would like to remind citizens that it is not an operating policy of the Stark County Sheriff's Office to call and request funds, vouchers, and payments. For sheriff services or jury duty services, Stark County residents should be aware of these types of scams and report any suspicious activity to your local police department and or the Stark County Sheriff's Office. Okay, so the thing is, guys, if the Stark County Sheriff needs to get a hold of you, they're probably not going to call you on the phone and ask you for money.
No.
They're probably going to show up at your door and tell you that you either owe them money or you're going to jail. I don't know.
All government offices are going to either mail you something or knock on your door. They'll never call you.
Yeah. I don't think that's a common thing with the sheriff's office. They got way too much stuff to do. And normally, if you owe a fine or something like that, they're going to send a court officer anyway or mail you something. So
Yeah, they're kind of like IRS.
yeah, they don't want to talk to you on the phone.
No.
So
No, they're not gonna call you for any kind of a fundraising thing or anything else like that.
No.
They advertise it like everybody else does and post stuff up. They don't call people for it.
yeah, and they bring stuff down to us.
Yes.
When we started doing these.
I don't remember. All right, so a few shows ago we talked about Akron, Cleveland, and several other cities who have challenged part of the, modernization of ORC 968. If you don't know what ORC 968 is, it is essentially the state law that says municipalities and localities cannot make gun laws more stringent than state laws, and that was put into effect to keep, local assault weapons bans and carry prohibitions and things like that. Well, they strengthened it, allowing folks to go after different localities for money when they violate this right. And they did this in response to several cities and localities pushing their luck with ORC 968, Cleveland being the worst. And what this news article explains is Akron, Cleveland, and 4 other Northeast Ohio cities are set to go to trial in June in their challenge of a controversial provision of the state's gun laws that went into effect in late December. It's not really that controversial. Essentially, what says in HB 228 was that if a locality violates ORC 968 and a citizen catches them and takes them to court over it, then the locality owes them their legal fees plus damages. That's not really that controversial. So Summit County Common Pleas Judge Allison McCarty was scheduled a pretrial hearing for June 11th. The trial scheduled to begin on June 22nd. The issue is a part amended to the right to bear arms law that restricts communities from regulating the possession, sale, manufacture of firearms and ammunition. It also allows gun owners who believe their rights have been violated to sue a municipality. The provision is part of House Bill 228 passed in 2018 after the Ohio Senate overrode a veto from outgoing Governor John Kasich. So this law, HB 228, not only did it strengthen the ORC 968 portion of our state law, it also shifted the burden of proof in a self-defense scenario from the citizen to the state. So that was a really good thing. We wrote some letters to state lawmakers saying, "Hey, this is a good thing. Let's put this into effect." And now there's several cities that have decided that they're going to waste a lot more of our tax dollars by challenging this. So once again, guys, I got this from cleveland.com. If you want to check out the whole article, video link is always in the description on the show. So check that out. And, maybe write a letter to one of your representatives, maybe a local representative from the city of Akron, Cleveland, Cincinnati, or Columbus, and say, hey, quit spending my tax dollars on something that is beneficial to the citizens. All right, so on to, we got this from News Talk 1480 WHBC. In Canton, pretty close to home here, a rash of breaking and entering incidents in the city of Canton early Monday. Some of them may be connected, according to police. Both medical marijuana dispensaries, the Botanist on Green Ave Southwest, and Zenleaf on Steinway Boulevard Southeast saw door and window damage. Medical marijuana was reportedly not taken. Phantom Fireworks on Faircrest Southwest was also hit. And according to police reports, someone tried unsuccessfully to get into John's Bar and Grill and Totally Wireless on Cleveland Avenue Northwest by breaking windows. So I would bet, I would literally put money on the fact that this may be gang related.
Youngsters, probably.
Or drug related, drug money related, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The rash of break-ins is not something that that's not generally something that happens a lot, where you have that many break-ins in that short amount of time.
No.
And it might be gang related, trying to get them to, people in gangs try to boost their credit with, oh yeah, I'll go break into that place.
Right?
Street cred.
All right. So the next one we got here.
That's an initiation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. All right, Fox 8 Cleveland. Akron pizza delivery driver pulls a gun on the robbery suspect. So we get a good guy with a gun scenario here. A rash of pizza delivery robberies prompted Akron police to launch a safety campaign to educate drivers across the city on how to recognize when they're in danger and how to protect themselves. Concealed carry license and buy a gun. That pretty well says it all right there, doesn't it? On Monday, the holdups continued when a driver from the Domino's on East Market Street thought he was making a legitimate delivery to a home on 4th Ave. The house was vacant, and when no one came to the door, the driver attempted to call the customer. Police said that's when two young men came from the back of the house, threatened him with a gun, and robbed him of his cash and pizza. Residents who depend on delivery said the robbers are giving their neighborhood a bad name. Investigators said hours after the robbery of the Domino's driver, the same young men tried to stunt with a Papa John's driver at the same house, but they were in for quite a surprise. The moment they started to come around the house, I pulled a firearm and they ran, the driver said on the 911 phone call. Apparently they had business in the next county. They were waiting on another pizza delivery somewhere else. Papa John's driver has a permit to carry a concealed weapon and was willing to use the gun to protect himself. Well, if somebody points a gun at me, I'm probably going to point one back at them at minimum. I kind of walked toward the side of the house, and when I did, the three of them were trying to sneak up the side of the house, and I drew on them because they were pulling at their hips, the driver said. Residents in the neighborhood are saluting the driver for standing up to the criminals. Hero, a good guy if that's what it takes to scare them off, Carper said. That's cool. That's cool. He was awesome. That's what I'm trying to stay, said neighbor Bradley Dingle. Nice. Akron police said they are now planning a second round of safety meetings to educate delivery drivers.
Well, it sounds like that second delivery driver was, he was really paying attention. He said, he saw something funny, went around the side of the house, saw them pulling at their hips, and
I don't think so.
Yeah, it don't look right.
Although the the last part of the article with the police departments kind of sounds like work a little bit. We're going to continue to have safety meetings until we figure out why the crime rate isn't going down. It's, how about we do a little drug enforcement?
Continue until morale improves.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll continue until morale improves. Yeah, that's the same lines there, so it's not. I don't think that's going to have much of an effect for the city of Akron. I think the city of Akron police need to come up with a better plan for that.
Offer CCW courses.
We do. Sign up at SphonsCCW.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so what else have we got on the menu for tonight? This one, Maglula takes on Amazon. We got this from AmericanRifleman.org. I do believe this is a really long one, so I don't think I'm going to read the whole thing. Just give you the highlights. When it comes to writing about magazine loaders, in particular those from Maglula, notable to Uplula, the word trusty often appears in front of it. If anybody has ever used one of these, I can tell you that they are awesome. They're also the most expensive magazine loader on the market, but they're worth it. Maglula's CEO is Guy Tao, and not only is he a gifted inventor, he's also pretty scrappy. How scrappy? He's suing Amazon. Tao was fed up with Amazon continuing to sell forgeries and knockoffs of his loaders. For 3 years, he took note of the counterfeits and even ended his emails with what to look for in fake Maglulas as his signature line. Now he's in a David versus Goliath legal fight. While many companies, especially small companies, just whine about it, on December 12, 2019, Maglula filed suit, which you can read below. By January 3rd, 2020, all Maglula loaders were pulled from Amazon. We found Amazon breaking IP law in ways never reported before. It's the most comprehensive, broad, and detailed IP-related lawsuit ever filed against Amazon, wrote Tao. Many of our industry suffer from counterfeits. I just happen to be hard-headed enough and relentless, chasing both after the Chinese manufacturers and the sellers, such as Amazon, wrote Tao. Without our multiple registered and unregistered IP as weapons, Maglula would have been shut down by now. Turns out a couple of friends of mine actually had counterfeits made in China. Regardless of how the suit goes, NRA members should be aware that Maglula works through U.S. distributors, and you can find a list of them on this article. You will not find them on Amazon. Read the full lawsuit at the link at the bottom of the article. So,
We sell them.
yes, we do sell them.
They are not fake.
They are not fakes. Real quick on how to spot fakes. Obviously, there's some stuff on Maglula's website. Anything for a price that seems to be too good, especially online, I would almost guarantee that it's going to be a fake. If you're not paying at least $28 for a Maglula,
That ain't real.
it's probably not real.
It's not real.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't know exactly what they go for off the top of my head, but depending upon the season, the sale, the manufacturer, whatever, they're between $28 and $40.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the size and the one that you want. So if you're
The best deal is if you spend, I don't know, $500-$600 for one, you get a pistol with it.
well, this is true. Yeah, you can always buy a Smith, and then you get a. Well, actually, to put that right, you buy a Maglula, and then you get a Smith & Wesson with it.
Yeah.
Right. You pay a little more. I mean, shipping's high.
Yeah, weighs a little
Yeah,
more.
you gotta deal with the Smith.
Yeah.
This is not a Glock.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. So this next one we got up here is from the Federal Register, and obviously there's a link in the description. If you want to read this, you can. It's going to take you probably 2 hours. I'm not going to sit and read it for you. What this says is that ITAR, which is the International Trade in Arms Registration, which is a $2,250 fee that any gunsmith or store that sells anything internationally or builds firearms has got to pay, has moved from the State Department to the Department of Commerce. The benefits for us, I do believe prices are going to go down again, because there's a lot of garbage that the State Department had thrown on top of this and made people pay this fee that were not required to pay this fee. So there's going to be a lot of, and it's going to help the smaller guys a lot more than the big guys, but there's going to be a lot of smaller guys that are not going to have to pay this $2,250 fee and register with ITAR. And they will have an appeal process if they're told that they have to pay this fee. This was a backdoor gun control thing. Essentially, the State Department under the last presidential administration pretty much said that any work that you do on a firearm is considered improvements and applicable to ITAR, which is completely false. ITAR was only for exports, and it was designed to be on stuff like planes and missiles and bombs. So the current administration is removing that, and if you want to get real legalized on that article, then feel free. But it's kind of boring, I will warn you. Now, onto this next one. This come from Truth About Guns. Once again, the link is in the description. The non-gun owning paradise of California, specifically San Francisco, has decided that they're going to file a public record request demanding the list of concealed carry permit holders. And it goes on to point out in this article, well, first off, the Sheriff Barnes of Sutter County not only declined to release the completed information, but issued a notice to licensees that Chronicle is attempting to obtain their data, which kudos to this sheriff.
Absolutely.
The San Francisco Chronicle editor-in-chief, Audrey Cooper, isn't happy about their fishing expedition being exposed, and she's got a rebuttal here, and it says, I'm deeply disturbed by how some sheriffs have handled a routine request for public information from a respected and established news outlet. As a result, they've put their journalists in personal danger for their own political gain. I don't understand how a sheriff saying, no, you cannot have a list of gun owners in my city, puts her in personal danger. I haven't figured that one out yet.
Yeah.
But
Makes no sense.
it's a journalist's job to investigate trends, and we do not intend on publishing personal information of private citizens. Well, somebody already ruined that bridge for you, lady, because they already did this.
They already did that. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the sheriffs sought to play up distrust in media when it became clear that they cannot deny access to public information. Well, here in the great state of Ohio, they are actually barred from seeing that information because they abused it, and it took 3 different rewrites of the law to keep the reporters out of there because they do not need to have that information. And a great question comes up in this article. If they're not going to publish the information, why did the newspaper ask for it? They could have asked for a total number of licenses. They could have asked for a total number of gun owners. They could have asked for, a trend in, if people are getting more licenses or less licenses, how many were revoked. There's all kinds of stuff that could have happened here. How does revealing that the Chronicle was attempting to identify specific law-abiding firearm owners put anonymous reporters in any personal danger? I just asked that question. There's no reason why. Why ever would law-abiding firearm owners be suspicious of respected and established news outlets? Well, maybe because a New York-based journal News already printed this information from New York City residents, and it shows you a map here. So, and then you could literally click on the red dots at one point in time, and it would tell you the guy's name and address. And guess what? It was reported the burglars went straight for the safe that contained legally registered weapons, but they abandoned the theft when they could not get the safe open. on burglars who use the map to steal the guns more than once. And like the thing is, if you didn't have a underhanded idea for this information, why would you even ask for it?
Yeah, exactly. Why do you need that kind of personal information?
Sounds like a de facto registration.
Yeah, if you're doing an article on carries, then all you need is how many people actually have the license, not the actual person's name.
Exactly.
Exactly. You don't
You need the data. You don't need
the
the exact
identifying
information. Yeah.
And that's how the state of Ohio handled it when 3 separate occasions people either copied the information, released the information, or did something nefarious with the information. So they said, you know what? The only time that anybody has got access to this information is for a law enforcement proceeding. Nobody else can even view the information. But we're going to put out, and they have since the beginning, statistics on how many licenses are issued, how many are renewed, how many are revoked, things like that. So if there, I firmly believe this news outlet had a nefarious intention with this information, and somebody caught them.
Yeah,
Now
absolutely
they're trying to
they
cover
did.
up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Trying to cover up now.
So
normally the person that's defending themselves from that action is the guilty one.
Exactly right.
I would imagine that is exactly what's going on. They got caught with their hand in a cookie jar, and now they're upset about it.
They probably thought they could do the same thing that the New York one did, and nobody would be any wiser till afterwards.
And they got busted at it.
Yep.
Okay, so the mess continues in Virginia for our last article of the evening. And in here, if you go to this news article, we got this at the Washington Examiner. Once again, link is in the description. In this video, Democratic Virginia delegate Mark Levine said the biggest difference between hunting rifles and assault weapons is how you hold the gun. Speaking at a public meeting, the author of legislation to ban AR-style guns and large bullet-holding magazines used in semi-automatic weapons also said shooters could use several fingers to pull the trigger, and that deer know the sound of a bullet shot through a silencer better than humans. It's getting to
the ridiculous
fantasy world issue here. I think this guy's got to quit watching
cartoons.
Basically. As audience members were heard chuckling in the background, Levine said, in terms of differences of the guns, the heart of the difference is how you hold the gun. It makes it a semi-automatic.
Oh, God.
He showed his trigger finger moving and added, meaning that you can shoot with each finger, not like a bolt-action rifle used in hunting. Basically, the difference between guns that go like this, he said, extending one arm long, presumably to show holding a long barrel. These are rifles. You use them to shoot an animal, and you shoot very precisely. Asked to define guns he would ban at a meeting last week, he said mass shooters don't like things that go like this, posing as if holding a bolt-action rifle. Explaining why, he said, what that means is that somebody could hit the rifle butt against their head. Deer don't do this, elk don't do this, but humans trying to save their lives do. I don't even know what I watched the video. I didn't even know. Like, he then goes off, waving his arms, Rambo style, in sweeping fashion. Mass shooters use guns that go like this. Guns that go like this are wildly inaccurate.
I think a prerequisite going forward for anybody holding any office is to have served in the military honorably. This is ridiculous.
I mean,
well, I I like how the difference between a hunting rifle and an assault rifle is how you hold it. I mean, I have an AR style hunting rifle.
Yeah.
It works quite well. It's completely legal in this state as a hunting rifle.
I think at minimum there should be an IQ test to hold public office. Like we give people that. What's that?
We have plenty of semi-automatic rifles that don't like an AR.
Yeah, pretty much. But when it comes,
It's not a real thing.
no, it's not. When it comes to this public office thing, it's like I don't know whether they're just that wholly uneducated or they really believe that kind of
That's what it is.
Oh, they do believe that.
It's
You have to be in public office successfully, you have to be a good leader. So, I mean, the military being a prerequisite is not far off from that. That's all that is how to be a leader. That, and they wouldn't be so dumb when it came to guns.
well, yeah, that's. I mean, there's some other issues with that one, but I mean, my thing is we give civil service exams to guys who have to pump out septic tanks, and they have to pass that.
Yeah.
But we don't give a civil service exam to somebody who's elected
Yeah.
in control of millions of dollars.
Well, that's exactly right. You know, there's no prerequisite test where you have to have the IQ of a monkey to be a politician and win office. I mean, for God's sake, I just saw an article on the internet today where up in Massachusetts somewhere they got this big mayoral race for this town, and they got a goat and a sheep. They're the two candidates.
Must be a joke. It's got to be a joke.
Oh, I guess the goat's been the mayor for about 2 years.
Really?
There's a dog.
He seems to be doing a good job.
Good job.
I mean, I don't think he could screw up Massachusetts any worse than it is.
No, I mean, I think he ought to head to Virginia. He's got a chance.
Probably does.
Yeah.
Probably does. All right. Product of the week. What do we got? Looks
This
like
week,
looks like an MTM product,
MTM product, yes.
and it's a little large for the area. Gun vise. What's this thing do?
And basically,
Well, it's got a vise on it.
yeah, it's got a vise. Hold the stock down in here. You can pinch your fingers in there and hold the stock. It doesn't have any bullets that you can fire out of it, you know, like that guy in there. But this basically stock goes in here, barrel down there, or handguard, you know, whatever you want, and it holds it in place so you can work on the thing. You know, we've used this one to mount untold numbers of scopes, and we do the same. We use it for bore sighting. Works really well for that.
Cleaning.
Yeah.
You know, it's really nice to have something actually stay in place while you're trying to work on it, you know. And, you know, you can level it up, mount it to a big block if you want to, and have it permanently attached. You got holes here, holes in the back.
Yeah, it's got mounting
You know.
holes in it. Let me see if I can
Yeah.
get this where you
Yeah.
guys can see it. You got mounting holes on either end. It's got cleaning rod holders
Right.
here. The vise moves back and forth back here, so you can put the butt in here or back one.
All kinds of space in the tool tray.
Yeah, it's got a tool tray. It's got holders for your cleaning chemicals. It's got
Spots for
screwdriver bits, screwdrivers,
bits,
files, cleaning rods. It's got a sliding removable tray. We won't get this one too close to the camera because we have used this before, so it's a little dirty. But
A heck of a lot better than the wooden rack you see in the back over here.
yeah,
well, yeah.
it's convenient. It holds.
Spend more time cleaning than shooting.
Right? Well, it's got rubber feet on it, so it doesn't move around. It's got rubber contact points for the firearm, so there is some assembly required when you get this thing out of the box, but it's not all that difficult. If you can clean your gun, you can probably assemble this thing.
Yeah.
But it really is very useful. I mean, we use it for cleaning, we use it for scope mounting, sometimes working on different guns. There's just a ton of stuff that we use this thing for, and it seems like it is always out being used for something.
Yeah.
And we've used it a lot in the last year and a half or so, and
Yeah.
it still works perfectly.
MTM product. I mean,
Yeah.
made in USA, lifetime warranty. I think these are
Made in
too.
Dayton.
Made in Dayton, Ohio. It, even though it is a plastic product, that's kind of what MTM does. They make really good quality plastic products. I mean, I'm really surprised at how easy this is to use and how useful it is if you're a long gun shooter. Even if you're a handgun shooter, you can put all the parts in a tray and put your cleaning chemicals and patches and all kinds of stuff in here and use it like that. So it's just a really good product here.
You really can't go wrong for $40.
No.
It's a good buy, and
I don't know what kind of composition plastic MTM uses, but that's some pretty quality stuff.
Yeah.
If I was going to endorse anything made out of plastic, it'd probably be out of their factory.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have we loaded up them big ammo crates full? It's two guys to carry.
Throwing them in the truck.
And they never pop a latch. You got 250 pounds of ammunition in them, and they never pop a latch. So.
Sliding around in the concrete at the range. I mean, they just don't give up.
No.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever broken an MTM product.
I've got one of their big dry boxes. It holds like a case and a half of shot shells. The thing, I mean, you can barely pick it up. And I've got it. It's actually literally, it's this big. It's literally full with 7.62.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm scared to pick it up because it's so heavy. And I've had it 20 years.
Yeah.
And it still keeps dry inside. The rubber seal's still good.
Yeah. MTM products are good.
Back here underneath the bench, there's a few of their ammo cans that are older than all my kids. And I carry those to the range more often than the metal ones because they don't bend.
Yeah.
They scratch up, they don't get beat up, they're just there.
And they don't rust.
They don't rust.
So.
Yeah, that's a big thing. They don't rust.
They have that seal around the edge and they're watertight. They stayed in the truck overnight before even.
Yeah.
No
issues, really. So.
All right.
Next.
We got one more. And a nice, patriotic sweatshirt here. Got an American flag on the front, American flag on the back. It's a Rothko hooded sweatshirt. Thing that's kind of nice about this, first off, it's your standard hoodie. It's kind of got like an athletic material. Got some Velcro on it for patches. What's that?
Is it dry fit material, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more like a dry fit type material. It's got zipper here. It's got pockets right here on the sleeves. Kind of cool. One thing that's really cool about this, especially for those of you who choose to carry appendix, is you can reach in this hoodie pocket. It's got a opening in it.
Open pocket. Yeah.
So that you can actually access your firearm from either side
Through the pocket.
through the pocket.
Is the pocket still useful?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, you can still use it. I mean, you might want to watch, keeping some small things in there. You might lose them, but they did give you some. It's got pockets on both sleeves, some pen holders. Pretty good hoodie.
What'd you say, Ryan?
Most people throw their cell phone in that pocket. I think that'd be just fine.
Yeah, I think cell phone would be just fine in there. $34, made by Rothko. Got a nice American flag on them. I think they're pretty sweet hoodie for what they are.
The last part of our show, new products. I didn't pull a new product. We did get to preview a new product called the Henry Axe. What was that, last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, last week. Our buddy Mike Kreitzer at Budget Guns and Gears got a video up about it, so we got to shoot it. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. SHOT Show's coming down, so we want to try and choose our new products wisely and see what we can bring to the market for you guys. But outside of that, we're kind of over time a little bit. And anybody got anything to add?
No, everybody that's watching, help us out. You know, subscribe to our channel, like, share it on Facebook, all that social media stuff.
Yeah, all the social media stuff. Everybody who's out there watching.
Thing, seems to be a big football game coming up this weekend. Everybody's out having fun. Just be safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody be safe.
Yeah, be safe for the large football game. We do have a Sportsman's Club meeting on Saturday at 3, so if you remember Sunday at 3, I'm sorry, Sunday at 3.
Don't scare me like that, Jay.
So if you're a club member, you make it out there. Outside of that, everybody have a good weekend and enjoy your weekend. Thanks for spending your time with us tonight. And once again, Sphons CCW Live Show brought to you by Sphons CCW. This and that distribution and the Minerva Sportsman's Club. Have a good weekend, guys.
See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.